how did the world of Exandria
land on our doorstep?
exactly? Like what was the decision? Like what was the moment where you're like,
Well, a lot of people may not know this, but our books actually have a pretty long gestation period. So we had been wanting to work with Matt for a long time. And at some point, I guess we just figured out that his schedule would allow us now to actually be able to schedule something. It was like we didn't have any expectations until we talked to him and said, hey, would you want to work with us on an official D&D product? And so it was very kind of, the answer may have been no, because Matt's a busy guy. Critical Role is obviously taking up a tremendous amount of his time. He's got all of his other side work and voice acting work on the side. We had no idea what he would say. He said yes. And that basically led to a series of conversations of, okay, now if we're going to get serious about this, we have to build a schedule. We have to show Matt the schedule to see if he can actually do it, because our schedules can be kind of terrifying and intimidating. Can he get the freelance writers that he wants to work with lined up in time? Are they all available? Can he get us an outline by this date? And so we sent him some information about what the schedule would be. And then we just had a series of conversations. It was after, I think, a couple conversations that we actually brought him into the building so that we could just face-to-face talk about what this book could be. And at that point, I'm not even sure we were settled on whether it was going to sort of track with the current campaign setting or if it was going to be something else entirely, an adventure or something. We didn't know. But I think Matt was very keen on bringing Wildemount to life. And it was also something he was presently engaged in with the show. So it would be something he could do at the same time he was running the show. One would basically feed the other.
Yeah.
And then we gave him a bunch of deadlines. He went off and he started writing and assigning stuff to writers and then sending stuff in pieces to review to make sure he was on the right track, that he wasn't going to be delivering something that we couldn't work with. But it was all very organic, and I don't think anybody went in with hard expectations at first. It was just like, we like working with fun, creative people who are professionals. Matt is all of that. If this works out, great, let's do it. And it did.
And you've been friends. You've been on Critical Role twice now.
Yes.
Famously, I think my favorite is Spurt.
Spurt is pretty cool. He's pretty cool. Still dead, but cool.
Is there like a personal element to it?
Actually, I wasn't assigned to work on Dawn War originally.
Right.
That was going to be... I had other stuff on my plate, and I wasn't even going to touch it till probably the end or something.
Right.
But then schedules got juggled around, projects got moved about, and suddenly I found myself the designated internal lead for the project. Now, Matt is the creative lead. There's no question about that. My job is more like on the back end, the managing, editing side of things, stitching the book together, making sure that it all fits, reviewing the work of the editors, reviewing the work of the designers. But then Matt and I think, really kind of bonded easily because we do have a friendship. So there's a great deal of respect there, a great deal of trust on his end to let me take his book to a final form with the help of course, the developers and Jeremy Crawford and the art director and all of those people. The friendship made it a lot easier. It made it, I would say, effortless. And there's no ego. I don't bring my ego to my products. Matt doesn't bring his ego, if he has one, to his products, to the product. But there was this sort of sense between us that we were going to give everything that we had to this book, put our best foot forward, inspire with this book, deliver on the expectations of the critter community, give something that D&D players who don't watch Critical Role, give them something valuable. That's a lot. That's a lot. And the fact that I didn't have to worry about Matt, that I knew he'd be able to do what he had to do, made that much easier.
It is a remarkable book, and the fact, just me looking at it, is that even if I wasn't, I would consider myself a friend of Matt's or a fan of Critical Role, just as a purely hardcore D&D fan from like the very beginning, very intrigued by the subclasses already. I am already very excited for the magic in it. I'm excited for the monsters. Like there really is, for me, it feels like there's something for everyone in this book. It is also a very large book.
Yeah. Yes.
Like
yeah. It is a weighty tome. It is. What's the term I use to describe that? Packed as.
We'll bleep that one out.
There's no wasted space, and we've got some beautiful stuff. I failed to mention, and I should have mentioned by now that Devin Rue gave us some really good maps and a beautiful poster map of Wildemount. I think people will really dig it.
I think it's important for people to understand that, like, not only most of this came out of Matt Mercer's mind, but also this was a very big collaborative effort between Wizards of the Coast and Critical Role. Like, so many people at Wizards of the Coast were involved in also the creation of this book and the vetting of this book.
Yeah.
Right. The subclasses were looked over by Jeremy Crawford.
Yes, and by Dan Dillon, and we had all that material play tested. So we had the playtester feedback to go through, which Ben Petrosor helped with. A number of people on the Wizards team really had a hand in crafting what has finally ended up in the book, all under mine and Matt's review.
Right.
So the idea being we didn't want we didn't want to surprise Matt necessarily. Although we made some tweaks at the end to get the book to fit and all that kind of business, the normal stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So that was
to physically fit into a book.
Right. Yes. Yes. Or, you know, Jeremy is always one of the last set of eyes to look at a mechanical element because he wants to see it after it's been through a number of other development passes.
Yeah.
And if he sees something that he thinks is bad for the game or creates potential problems for us down the road, things that may be beyond the product itself, but how it impacts the greater system.
The ecosystem of
exactly,
D&D.
The ecosystem of D&D and all that kind of stuff. If you identify something that's a problem and it needs to be cut, we cut it because we don't have any time to deal with it at that point. And that's fine. There's still lots left, you know. So stuff ends up on the cutting room floor and might never see the light of day, but that's okay. You're still getting 304 pages of delicious Matt Mercer brain food.
It's a personal question, and I don't try to ask them too much, but is it, you gotta be very happy for your friend. Like
Yeah.
On another level, like separating yourself from the book and
Yes.
and getting this creatively done, you're seeing the success of your friend.
Yeah.
What is that like?
Joyous. It's magical. It seems like I feel like I come away feeling I wouldn't want to do anything else. You know, D&D is all about friendships on multiple levels and being supportive, being present, being open to their ideas, helping to bring their ideas forward. It's a great privilege. I feel privileged to know the folks at Critical Role, and Matt in particular. I feel privileged to be able to work so closely with a creative soul for so long, and to come away with that with something that other people can now enjoy. That is a rare, pleasant experience that a lot of people don't get. And it's hard to describe just how soul satisfying that is. So I feel a deep love for Matt. I feel a deep love for what he and his friends at Critical Role are doing. You watch that friendship both in front of the camera and behind the scenes, and you understand just how genuine it is and how protective they are of each other. And as someone who has seen that firsthand, I cannot leave that experience behind and not be as protective of them and of Matt. It's just impossible. And so it was very important for me, and it was very important for us at Wizards not just for the sake of the partnership we have with Critical Role, but just the respect that we have for them, the respect they have for us, the joy that we have to create something magical together. That's something that we're not willing to give up. That's not something that we're willing to jeopardize or throw away for the sake of dollars or for the sake of, a product's measured success. We would have done this book even if we didn't know it would be, number one on a Amazon list, if only to see or enjoy the collaborative exercise, and to be able to share time, space, and minds with such creative souls.
Pre-order now on dndbeyond.com and receive exclusive bonus content with everything that you need to start your own adventure.